Check 1 2 check. Brandon.
Oh, yeah, check.
There we go. Can you move back a little bit?
Yes.
Because like everybody's seeing your mouth, and that's about it.
It's a beautiful mouth.
Listen, people do not come here for your mouth. Well, I mean, they can't hear you speak. Lift your camera up. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Yeah. Just like that. Yeah. All right, stop.
How much farther do I gotta go?
All right, you're good. All right, and now we are ready to start this thing off. Sorry for the technical stuff. I'm still getting used to, as Brandon will attest to, getting used to Twitch and XSplit and all that stuff. We tested to like, what,
Almost
11 o'clock
12.
yesterday?
Yeah,
Almost 12, trying to get
almost
this
12
stupid
last
thing to work. And finally got it. So how's your day so far?
I'm pretty exhausted, I'm not gonna lie. I had a very busy day of work. But other than that, pretty good.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can add, I think Ben is good. I'm going to see if I can add him to the call. Look at my chat list.
I believe he's on his phone, so I don't
Oh.
know if he's there.
Well, he'll just get added in when he
Uh,
sees first, as he's ruining our awesome broadcast here. I gotta recapture you. So, while I'm setting this up, let's talk about some of the weekend's happenings. And one of those things is something that you and Ben are incredibly familiar with, but I am not really all that knowledgeable on, and that's the Dota. What is it called? The International.
International, yes.
So what is
TI3, exactly.
what is the TI3? What is the International?
It's basically you have a bunch of teams from all over the world that compete to get $1.4 million, and second place takes home 600,000. But basically, they have a bunch of prelims from beginning of July, and then the first weekend in August or second weekend in August, they have the main tournament, and that's when the top 32 play against each other, I believe, or top 16. I can't remember. Grand finals is really all that matters, honestly, but
Oh, come on, keep going.
that's about it, really. There's a bunch of teams that played. I saw losers and winners finals, and they don't have like a reset kind of thing, so it's grand finals is best of 5, regardless of what side you're coming from. So whoever wins that wins the whole thing.
And wasn't like the first losers bracket game? Wasn't it single elim?
Yes. Yeah,
Which
it
is
was.
nuts.
It was the loser bracket game for the beginning was all single limb, and the winners bracket was best of 3. But if you were in losers, you had to ride that the whole way. There was like no coming back.
That's crazy.
Which is pretty cool because it's not that fair, but it's just the way the game is.
Now, is that typical for Dota tournaments?
Yes. For any like major tournament, that's normally the format. But some of the other ones, they do best of 3 regardless of what pool you're in, not pool, bracket. So if you're in losers, so they do best of 3, and if you're in winners, they do best of 3. And grand finals is mostly best of 5.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no reset because if there was, it would be so goddamn long.
Yeah, I mean, what's the average game? 40 minutes?
40, 50 minutes. I mean, they played one game, like broke the world record for being the longest in the international. Well, like in any tournament, it's like 98 minutes or something like that.
That's nuts.
So, I mean, that's a long ass game. But
And how? Because I only play League. League is the only MOBA that I know right now. Like, how's the game pace and the speed compare with Dota?
honestly, it depends. It depends on the tactics the teams are using. If you're like an Asian team or a European team, they tend to stay back more and not really go in that much. So you'll see like a really long farming process, and then maybe like 40 to 50 minutes in, then that's when the game will be decided. But for the most part, it depends on the strategy. Like the people that won was the Alliance, and their last game, how they won was they just split lanes and they just dual pushed. So they pushed the lanes all the way in, and they took both like racks and stuff, and that's how they won. And that game was fast. It was like 26 minutes.
Wow.
So it all depends really on the strategy of the game. Trying to think of like some
Were
other
they the
teams.
odds-on favorite to win?
Yeah, from the get-go, actually, they basically swept. They didn't lose one game. Well, they might have lost a couple games, but they didn't like get out of winners bracket. and they rode that all the way into grand finals. And they even, I think Navi lost to somebody, and they ended up in losers, and they came all the way to grand finals to play against Alliance. But they were the odds-on favorite next to Navi.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so they won. Do you know the prize breakup? Like the first place team didn't win 1.4 million, right?
First place won 1.4, second place won
Wow.
600, third place won like 2, I think, and then fourth won like 80 or something like that. And then it broke down from there. I mean, the prize pool was massive if you win.
That is definitely nothing to write home about. Oh, is he coming in?
It's Benjamin.
I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Woo!
Let me. You need to fix your camera again because it says XSplit.
Yeah, I'm turning XSplit on right now. I forgot.
Okay, I'm gonna add your video into the call. Give me 1 second. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. All that
That was
jazz.
one of the scariest moments of my life.
You came just in time. We're talking about Dota, your favorite game.
Perfect.
Yeah, I was just talking about the grand finals and TI-30 and stuff.
So,
And like the format of the tournament and how it breaks down.
whenever I can see your dark, mysterious room.
Still
Yeah.
can't see it? Okay, hang on. I'm going to join the call again. Hang on.
All right, it's fine. Just break everything. It's cool.
Yeah. It's not like we didn't start one person short anyway, so.
Yeah, I know, right? We didn't even think we were gonna have a show.
Yeah.
I get 10 minutes before the show starts. Ben's like, my computer's dead. Sorry, guys. I'm like, what?
And magically it's working again.
So, I know a lot of people from the outside, like especially a lot of FGC people, are freaking out because they saw the pot was like, first place getting 1.4.
Yeah. I mean, the overall pot was, I think, 2.6, right, Ben? For all the money?
And now we can't hear him.
No, we can't hear Ben. Are you muted, Ben? No, there you go. Never
I
mind.
lost him
Not
from the
even
call.
on.
He's
There
probably
you
gonna
go.
have to restart Skype.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think the total pot was 2.6 million, and then they broke it down that way. So I mean, first place taking 1.4. That's like, it's more money than I make. I mean, if you divide it between the 5 players, that's more money than I make in like 5 years.
Yeah,
Which is kind of sad.
which we're just doing the wrong thing. Why work 9 to 5s? Let's just go
I know.
play Dota.
It's funny you say that because I was talking to somebody about that, and I was like, look at us like coming to work, working like 60 to 70-hour weeks. My job, not everybody's job, and we don't even make close to that much money. Like it's like impossible to make that much money. But it's like one of those things like with any kind of competitive game. It's like you have to really, really love the game to play
Right.
for that much. And you can't think of it just as them winning 1.4 and dividing it. It's that plus all the sponsorships plus whoever they're under. So they're getting paid their salary plus whatever their winnings is.
Right.
And I'm sure it goes back to like their sponsors and stuff like that. So they make a percentage, but still, it's insane.
A salary to play video games.
Yeah, but think about that though. That's your job. Like, what if you like hate the game and then you're like useless? Like you can't like you can't go and work in like the real world. Well, maybe you can, but it's just scary. Like if you stop liking the game, then it's just like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, like you just wasted so many years of your life. Oh, we're gonna try again with Ben.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you too.
You guys can see me.
I can see you.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay. All right.
How do they work?
All right. I think Are we back? Are we back to normal? I'm gonna move you up a little bit. I gotta like find your video. All right. I wish you can label these things in XSplit. Maybe you can. I've only used XSplit for like 2 days.
It's all a learning process, folks.
Okay. Fuck them. Like other shows wouldn't do this. They're ready to freak out and stop it. Start the stream. Be like, we'll be right back. No, we do this shit on the fly. We do this shit live.
We're doing it live.
So
Buddy, we're doing it live.
we were just talking about the prize pool, Ben, of the international. I just got a link showing us the current prize pool in total was $2,874,407.
Yeah. Which is insane.
Now, was that all from this compendium thing, or was it all from some from sponsors, or was it just like people?
No,
No, go
I
ahead.
think Valve started out with $1 million again because every year it's always been $1 million.
Yeah, 1.3 million from Valve.
And then what they did was they started the compendium idea, and everybody that donated money to the pot got some special rare items. Whenever you broke like a certain point in the pot. So they set like milestones, like 1.5 million, 2 million, 2.5. If it reached 3
Yeah.
point something, they would make any hero that the community wanted to be made the following week. So that was like the last milestone that everybody was trying to work towards.
But we didn't reach it.
Didn't reach it. Everybody wants techies in the game. It's a character that kind of like is pretty annoying, but everybody loves. So, yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Brandon's face just got chopped off. I don't know why. But so what?
I gotta sit up more?
No, you're good. Stay where you are. I'll fix you. So this compendium thing, like you said, it unlocks some stuff. It also looked like people could use it to follow the actual tournament.
That's called Dota TV.
Oh, so like, did it unlock like a special station or like, because it looked like you can unlock brackets and stuff like that here, if I'm looking at this correctly.
They did a lot of things. Like you're able to play like in the game compendium matches where you actually play heroes that were in the last pro match in the tournament.
Okay.
Publicly. And I'm not sure if that's what you might be seeing, but they did a ton of stuff. Like you were able to like gamble items, or if you bought these tickets and you watched the game in Dota TV, and if rare occurrences happened, like all sorts of just weird things, like if somebody bought a certain item.
Yeah, like the courier was killed or something.
Yeah, if the courier was killed, you'd have a like small chance of winning an item, just like a rare item.
Huh.
So yeah, they Valve is really pushing this whole like microtransaction thing.
Yeah, I saw like during the Steam sale, I bought a bunch of games, and now I have all these rare trading cards that I can like sell for actual money and stuff. Like these are crazy.
Yeah, you were able to do that too. You were able to get training cards while you played the game. There's a lot of layers. So.
And they also had the fantasy team option, like those player cards that you'd win at the end of every match, and then you would actually win like rewards based on like how well your fantasy team did. But they haven't given out the rewards yet, from what I heard.
And how much was the actual compendium to buy in? Was it just like a... Because I can't actually see because I took down the page, but was it like a set price, or was it kind of like the Kickstarter model where you pay as much as you want, or...
You're talking about like towards the pot, you mean?
Right, yeah.
As much as you wanted.
Yeah.
So like if you donated and then it hit the milestone, everybody that donated will get the special prize.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But
So
I mean,
it was,
people donated like $1.5 million basically
pretty much, yeah.
to like add to the pot, which is insane.
So $10 for the compendium, $2.50 to the pot, $7.50 to Valve. That was the split. That's not bad.
$10.
It's still $10 to get all this kind of crazy stuff and be part of a live event while you're watching it and have like unlocks depending on what happens. I'd do that. That's like fantasy draft sort of.
Yeah.
I say that not knowing what fantasy football actually is. I've never actually played it.
Well, the player cards and stuff were kind of like a fantasy draft, except you actually didn't get the draft. You were just given like players that you could make on your team.
They were handing those things out like candy. Every time you played a game, at the end you'd always get an item and stuff, and everybody would just be getting player cards, and it's just like, I don't want to see this guy's ugly mug on my screen, you know. But
they're kind of worthless if you like didn't do the fantasy team, but if you did, it was like worth it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people that are into that, and they were trading like, because all these items have value, and honestly, I don't follow any of that. I just play Dota 2 just for the competitive side of it. And you're able to trade like whole teams for a lot, because there's some rare items in the game that are worth like hundreds of dollars, and it's all cosmetic. It's nothing that gives you an edge. And those things ended up being worth a lot.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy. I know a lot of people in the fighting game community have been going nuts because one, they see the prize pools. I think I said this earlier. They see the prize pools and they're like, why don't we have this kind of money? And the other thing is like, I look at it as like, why don't we have that kind of developer support where actually Valve will come out and be like, hey, we're going to do this really cool thing that one will benefit us as a company in both of monetary value and like public appearance, because now we're going to give you the chance to one, support our tournament, your players, as well as your game, and earn some cool stuff on your side. And I think they're the first company to really just kind of do that, like kind of take that Kickstarter model and put it to an actual tournament. Like I've never heard of a tournament actually kickstarting their pot.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. And I don't know. I would like to see this get picked up by tournaments, all different types of games like FPS, um, uh, even like I think like as this was going on, wasn't like the Pokemon World Championships going on at the same time?
Yeah, it was. It was the same
Dude,
weekend.
even I think Blizzard was having their biggest StarCraft 2 tournament
Yeah,
at
they
the
were.
same time.
Which
Yeah.
is
They thought they could bury Dota 2, Valve and their whole event, because they're definitely afraid of Dota 2.
they should
I
be.
can tell you that right now. Yeah, exactly.
It's a
So
free to play game that
free to play game, and you know what? Spectators like to see micro more than macro, and StarCraft 2 is a macro intense game, and
Right.
it's not fun to watch. It's really just not fun to watch. And I think that StarCraft 2 is starting to die a little, especially competitively. I know that a lot of people, a lot of pro StarCraft 2 players were concerned about that before the expansion came out. So because MOBAs were just taking the thunder from StarCraft 2, like StarCraft 2 was peaking at a point, and so they thought they could bury it. And honestly, we had like 1.5 million spectators watching the Dota 2 Grand Finals. You
which
know,
is nuts. It was like at 2
Yeah,
in the
it was
morning or
insane.
something, and it was like, 1.5 million people were watching this game. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Like, go to sleep. What are you doing?
I mean, playing Dota 2 and while the international was going on, there was like the most people I've ever seen online at like one point. Like I've never seen like 400,000 people playing like Dota 2 at the same time that was going on. I think what they did too that was actually really cool was the when you spectated the match, you actually got like commentary like in game.
Oh,
And
really?
then, yeah,
Yeah,
you could like move the mouse to wherever you wanted, and then you could follow like how the commenters.
That's
were
nuts.
doing
And was
stuff, which
live?
yeah.
Like,
awesome.
wasn't on a delay or anything like that?
no, there has to be a
No?
delay because actually I don't know if there was a delay for that, but when you
I
watch
think it
a
was
game,
for the stream.
maybe. I'm trying to think. It probably was live because typically when you watch a replay, like or watch a live game, it's delayed by a little bit, so you can't cheat. Obviously, if you have a friend in the game, you can tell them live what's happening on the other team. But these players are caged off in these booths,
Right.
So maybe it was live. I think it probably was live.
Yeah, I've never actually been to, and I kind of wanted to go. I know they're selling tickets for the league finals in Los Angeles, but I kind of want to go and check it out. How like the actual game, how like the actual venue is set up, like if commentaries pipe through the crowd or anything like that. Because I know that they don't do that at other tournaments, but I don't know if they make an exception with them being in those soundproof booths or stuff like that.
From the layout, it looked like the commentary was going through speakers, and then they were in the booths, and then they had like maybe a projector of like what the commentators were showing.
Right.
That's the way it looked like to me. I mean, Ben and I we both looked up like we were gonna go, but then I looked up tickets, and it was way too expensive.
How much was it for tickets?
Well, last minute it was a
Last
lot.
minute for like a flight was like $800,
Oh,
but we like it was too last minute. But
yeah.
See, the thing is, like the way Valve sets up the Dota 2 tournament, is like you have a projector in the middle, and I believe you have maps of each side. So that if you're sitting on either side of the arena, you're able to see what's going on the mini map and stuff. But I know Riot, I think last year, like because I didn't follow it this year, they had their biggest League of Legends tournament, and they didn't put the players in booths. And I remember.
Right.
The players would literally turn back and look at the mini map, which was displaying their enemy's mini map as
Yeah.
well. and
Which was a
cheated.
big issue. There was a big issue. Like people got disqualified and or eliminated because of that. Because people were doing just that. They were turning around and being like, "Oh, right there," and
Yeah, why
using
not
that
just
info.
Put them in the booth so they can't cheat and
that's
hear
like poor
anything.
setup.
Well, I mean, they had a bunch of problems. Remember, I don't know if you were actually watching because I remember going to New York Comic Con that weekend because it was the same weekend as the finals, and they started a match at 3, and like I was at the con watching. I came back and the same match was going on because they had lost connection, like they had lost
Oh, yeah.
power for like 6,
Yeah,
7
yeah.
hours.
Oh, and
they
it
had-
wasn't LAN, right?
Right, and it wasn't LAN at
Oh,
this time
okay.
because they actually built the LAN client specifically for this reason, and they tested within like a week, which was crazy. But like, and they were like, "All right, we got to reschedule these matches to Wednesday in order to, stay on top of it." So it was kind of interesting to see the setup and to see it get blown up like right in front of our eyes. But they recovered very quickly, and they immediately, I think within a day or two, they immediately disqualified or I think sent that team to losers. It was one of those two. That was cheating. But yeah, because I remember seeing the booth setups for MLG when they were doing pictures of those tours, and like the Dota and League booths, or at least the League booth. I'm not sure if Dota was playing at MLG. They were all enclosed in booths and soundproof stuff. And then when we saw the I think it's LCS last year, it was like just wide up in the open. And while that's cool, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care if you're like it's like if I don't care like if you're the Daigo of like League of Legends players. Like if you're given that advantage, you're gonna take it.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason not to.
And it's honestly one of the biggest parts of MOBA.
Right.
Is just knowing what's going on the map, Huge.
That's the biggest part of any game, really. The more info you have on your opponent, easier time you're gonna have.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, with RTSs in particular, yeah. But going back to like what Brandon was saying with Dota TV, that thing is so freaking cool. Like Valve is really pioneering this whole competitive esports like league idea out of any company, I believe, in my opinion. The Dota TV, the game's free to play, so you just get in the game, you could watch the games live, you could choose which spectators you want in the client. So you could pick Russian, you could pick Chinese, like all sorts of casters throughout the world. You could literally put them on and watch the game live. And then you could also follow the pros' camera view and see how they're clicking, where they're looking. You could see their tendencies and like learn from it.
Yeah.
Shit's awesome.
Although the best commentating is Korean. I mean, I don't understand what they're saying, but you have to watch it in Korean. It's just
Koreans. The Koreans are crazy. I think they learned that from StarCraft too. Like to make it entertaining for people, they have to go, batshit insane.
It's really fun.
It's like nuts. It's like nuts.
You should. I know what you mean by foreign language stuff. To take it back to fighting games, I think his name is Nuki, Nuki. He's a Third Strike commentator in Japan. If you want to see the craziest commentary ever, watch that dude. And he's in the Yatagarasu game that just got funded. Like I saw him in the demo, and like he almost blew my eardrums off, because he'll just be playing, and you'll do a super, and you'll do like, and it was like, oh my god, like it comes out of nowhere. I probably could have said something Japanese, but I just went the racist route. I apologize. I took the easy way.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, like that's really cool. And I kind of want to see more of that in the future. I think I didn't get a chance to watch this time. When is the next like major? I'm not sure how their season is set up. When is the next major kind of Dota tournament?
It's kind of weird, man.
Yeah, it's a weird format.
They don't really do it sort of like the fighting game community where they have like these, like.
Well, no MOBAs seem to do it like scheduled anyway. It's just kind of like, oh, on Wednesday we have a tournament.
Right, yeah. It's like whoever wants to like get their sponsorship out there and wants to throw a tournament, they'll throw it for like $10,000 here, $15,000 here.
You can just throw that money around.
Yeah, like, but that's like, dude, that's like little piecemeals compared to what the real deal.
That's more than Evo last year.
I know.
That's impressive.
Dude, there's like a lot of things that I think Valve is doing that I would really like to see fighting game communities do, especially like Evo. Because when I was watching the stream, I prefer to watch it on Twitch rather than the client. Personally, it's just me. But they freaking, you can watch it in 1080p for free. Like you don't have to pay.
Well, I mean, the Evo thing, we're paying for the 1080p stream, whatever. That was for charity. You didn't have to do it.
Oh, that was for charity?
But all that money went to the New York City NYU game design major graduate program. Game Center, that's what it was. So, like, they didn't get a cent off of that. That all went to a scholarship to fund somebody's game design program.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. That's a good cause. But I didn't know that because when you click on it, it just says like Evo Pass. Like
they probably could have done a better job of explaining that.
yeah. No, that probably would have looked a little bit better, especially when I click it and it's like you can't watch 1080p because you have to buy an Evo Pass, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, it was announced in February, and then they just kind of didn't say anything until like 2 days before Evo. People were like, "Why am I paying all this money?" And it's like, you don't have to, but it is helping somebody. It's not like lining the cannon's pockets or anything like that.
I kind of like saw it as, okay, well, if you're not going to show up to Evo, you still have to pay something,
Yeah.
I mean, only if you want to fund some kid's future, Ben. I know you might not have it in you to do that, but...
No.
I don't.
At least you're honest.
No, but barely fund my future.
They ran that whole thing. It reminded me of like ESPN for video games. Like there was never a moment where they always had something to show, especially in between matches. They had a segment they could watch and all this and that. It was ran really well.
Right.
But I like after the match they had the analysts that discussed like what happened during the match and stuff and how like it could have played out, which I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's pretty interesting.
Just to go with like your ESPN thing, because that's kind of like Sports Center kind of.
Yeah, they'd have replays on the fly, and they're like, okay, this is the moment when the game turned. You watch that,
Yeah.
And then, of course, it takes some time to change because everybody gets in the booth, they have their own setup, keyboards, monitors, whatever. So while Valve is installing all that into, the Steam client and whatever, they would show like little parts about the convention, like how they're selling all sorts of memorabilia, and
Yeah, they have like little promos in between and stuff like that showing about
they even had the voice actors for all the characters. They
Yeah.
had people that design items there, just all sorts of booths and stuff. It was like kind of like a freaking E3 for the game. It was like crazy.
It was like a Valve Con instead of BlizzCon.
Yeah, exactly.
That is pretty crazy. I mean, a lot of that comes with the fact that it's a Valve-owned game right now. Like it's
Yeah.
developed and produced by Valve
Yeah.
solely.
Yes.
Yeah, they had to get the rights for the game from Blizzard for the name because it was a
Right.
custom map
It's from
So-
Warcraft 3, right?
from Warcraft 3. So somehow they came to an agreement. I don't know how Valve won that. I think Blizzard is so retarded for giving that name
Money.
away.
Money.
They must have gotten a lot of money, but they're
Yeah.
probably wishing they didn't right now.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're so behind. Like they could have been on top of this years ago, And
Yeah,
now
it's a pretty simple game engine. I mean,
It's not
Yeah.
even that. I just think that nobody was really, not taking seriously, but nobody really kind of strove for that kind of experience until Riot started doing it. And Valve kind of maybe just kind of looked over their shoulder and were like, oh, that's pretty cool. Let's try to do it this way. And like Valve is always very, very engaging with their audiences. Like, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer for Valve. They seem to do a lot of those cool things for customer engagement, and they do it well.
Yeah, they get it community based because they realized with Counter-Strike, the first successful mod of Half-Life, designed by the community and seeing how popular it was, they realized there was like a lot driven behind that. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah.
So
I mean, they
they're
did
trying
cool
to-
things. Like one of my favorite things they ever did was they patched Portal 1 one day. Like this was before Portal 2 even came out. They patched Portal 1, and like it had all these weird glitches in the patch. Like there's all kind of weird inconsistencies. And if people data mined it, they found all these kind of hidden pictures and stuff like that, kind of hinting at Portal 2. And then they patched the ending to Portal 1 where, like, I don't know if you ever played Portal 1, but spoilers, when the game ends, you're just kind of sitting there looking at the sky. And they patched it where, after the patch, they patched it where you're looking at the sky, but all of a sudden something starts dragging you back into the laboratory.
Oh, I
And
never
that's-
played it before the patch, actually.
Yeah, so, like, before the patch, you didn't have that scene. It just
Yeah.
ended with you looking up. But then after the patch, it had you
Ah.
being dragged away. And then, like, a few months later at E3, they announced Portal 2.
Oh.
So they
yeah,
do, like, really
I think
cool
I got
things
it
like that.
right before Portal 2 came out, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, you missed it. You missed those. You missed those
That
3
game-
seconds of silence.
Yeah, exactly. That game was cool. I liked it when it came out.
Yeah, I mean, Valve is really good at doing those kind of things, and it's only going to get better for here. I wish that, and it kind of sucks to put all the blame on like Capcom because they do own like the biggest fighting game right now, unless you're Salty Bets, but we'll talk about that.
Oh,
And like
Awesome.
they don't seem to, they probably don't have the money to do it right now. It seems like there's a lot of corporate restructuring. They just fired a bunch of people. I'm not sure. I know a couple of their titles didn't do so well with Resident Evil 6 and Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Like they kind of just, so like they don't really have the funding right now. But it would be nice to see them kind of do that same thing where like they had maybe kind of a compendium of their own or maybe some other kind of idea and kind of built up this infrastructure. But I really think the main roadblock to that is the console. I honestly think fighting games would have a better chance if they were PC developed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think because the PC model is just so helpful and it's just easier to use for everybody.
It's
so-
harder for grassroots tournaments because I have to
Yeah.
like build PCs, but that opens the avenue to bigger sponsorships. It opens the avenues for more accessibility because everybody has a computer. Everybody has a computer. Not everybody has an Xbox, but everybody has a computer. Like it's there,
Yeah.
especially when like AE is on sale for $7.50 right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like
I paid too
everybody
much money for it.
for like the price of lunch, you can buy Street Fighter. Now, it would be better if it was free to play. Maybe I'm not sure if that works for the fighting game model just yet. We're gonna see with Killer
Well,
Instinct, but
Who I read an article on Event Hubs. Who's that dude from Capcom? That he was saying that the free to play model is going to be like a big selling factor for like the next gen.
I know Ono. Was it Ono? I know he came out saying that it's not as simple as that, but he might have just recently said that it was as simple as that because that's Ono in a nutshell. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
find that article.
I don't remember, but I remember reading some article. I forget who said it, but he said that free to play fighting games are going to be like the big driving factor for like next gen consoles. So
Right.
And I think it was some Capcom guys, so maybe they'll make like a Street Fighter, I don't know, 4.5 or something like that.
You know
I
what
just wish they'd come out with
with
5.
with a free to play model, like it's tough to do this on a console because you kind of want. I think the way Valve is approaching it's the best way, but you can only do that on a PC, and that's where the
Right.
community makes the content.
Because
Like,
even
I
then, Microsoft and Sony can put their own licensing fees and all sorts of stuff on it.
Plus, it's like, how the hell are you going to develop for one of their consoles? You need like one of those what are they called SDK kits and shit like
SDKs, yeah.
that. Just to develop like, here's how I think a fighting game free to play would work. Take the same way that Valve's doing with MOBAs. All you do is like, you release this free to play model. You promote the community to design like costumes and stuff for the characters. Make them make the content.
Right.
They make a profit on whatever sells in the marketplace that they have for the free to play game. And I could really see that being a really big driving factor for, like all sorts of events. Like, especially if they want to hold their own tournament, they could do the same thing that Valve did, like, okay, well, if you guys meet these milestones, first we'll put in like 100 grand or whatever, because it's Capcom. We'll put in like 100 grand in the pot. But if you meet these milestones, we meet 150, 200,000, this and that, then you'll get special little items that we developed for your characters to show off, I think it would work.
I think it comes down to a lot of pride. Like I don't want to come off as racist or kind of like nationalist, but like I think a lot of the things is that Western development, they've kind of embraced that aspect that of like, it's not just their game. Like they understand like when the game goes out to stores, it's there. Like people are playing it and they're embracing that fan base that's out there, where I feel like Japan is still kind of, they're more of a prideful country, they're more of a stubborn country, and they're slowly starting to adapt that model.
I completely agree with you. And I think that's exactly why Western gaming has taken over Japanese gaming.
Yeah. Like, it's not even a contest anymore. They used to...
It's like every single new Western RPG that comes out, it's like way better than any sort of Japanese counterpart. You got like, I mean, I'm not a big RPG buff, so I'm not going to analyze it too much, but like all sorts of paths you can take in Western RPGs, free, it's like free roaming, just kind of do whatever you want, and the story develops as you go. And JRPGs are just kind of just really linear now.
Right.
I don't know. I think I just like going on with the RPG thing. I can't really play Western RPGs because it's so free and so like
you get lost.
Do whatever you want. You get kind of lost. Like I not that I like want to be on a rail because nobody wants to play a game that's completely on a rail.
I love not Dead or Alive. House of the Dead. I'll play on rails.
No,
I don't care.
Oh.
Not literally like a rail shooter.
Shoot the screen.
No,
yeah, let's go.
You know what? That reminds me, like when Brandon and I were rooming together in college, and he came home with Final Fantasy 13, and he popped it in, and I was playing, I think Han at the time, and he's playing it, and I'm just like, dude, when are you going to be in a free world where you could at least like walk around town and stuff? Like the moment you start that fucking game, he's like, okay. Yeah, I ran up to the door. I got to open the door. Oh, there's the next door on the other end of the room. Open that door. Oh, there's the next room.
Yeah, I mean, like, that one wasn't designed well.
No,
that's for
it
sure.
wasn't.
But I feel like Final Fantasy, I'm going to probably get this wrong, but 12, right? That's real-time one?
Balter, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like that one was like a more fitting Final Fantasy. Because it was kind of open, but not so open that you get lost and like... There's not like stupid moral choices and things like that.
It's very customizable, like the actual battle system.
Yeah,
you can either play it traditionally, you can play it like an MMO, you can play it like as a mix of the two.
Yeah, which is like what I liked about it. I mean, 13, like that's a whole different kind of game, but
yeah. And 10 by extension, like 10, I was just I'm getting kind of hyped because the re-release is coming out soon. But 10 was mostly you just kind of ran down one path because you were trying to get to like the end temple or whatever.
Yeah.
But the game allowed a little bit of freedom with like side quests and like the areas were very big. It didn't like Final Fantasy 13 tunneled you literally. It literally tunneled you to the end of the game. So it's like But yeah, like the Japanese, as we're going back, because we're about to turn this into a fucking Final Fantasy podcast. The Japanese are a little more stubborn, and I think they're starting to shake that off, especially with Capcom USA being, they're getting a little bit more power, a little bit more influence into things. So. Capcom Cup is coming up, and I think first couple qualifiers are announced, but the most major ones is that Evo winner qualifies for Capcom Cup. Winner of the TFC Street Fighter tournament
just
qualifies.
Winner, though?
Just winner.
Okay.
So Shen's qualifies, then the winner of the Fall Classic will qualify, and I think there's another one in Japan. The winner of that will qualify, and I think Gamescom as well will qualify.
But then how do you add, like, how do more people join? Like,
they're just doing like 8 qualifier tournaments. They're just picking those tournaments.
oh, and then that's
Yeah, this is not
just
this is
eight
not
people?
this is not an open tournament. This is an invitational.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty interesting.
But like, I mean, I think this is the start for them to kind of do the stuff that Valve does. But I really think that we just need to move to PCs, and I know that pisses a lot of people off. But like you can't be bitching about wanting money in the scene or wanting to grow the scene and then stay on consoles. Like, I'm sorry, I love consoles. I've been a console gamer since I've been a kid, but those things they're gonna go away. They're gonna go away. Or they're gonna change because they're just becoming more PC-like, and PCs or have less restrictions.
Yeah.
And they're
that's
getting
true.
ports faster and faster. You used to just have to wait like 3-6 months to get a game, or even a year to get a game that was released on a console on PC.
Yeah.
Now, like with stuff like Steam, you get it same day.
Yeah, that's true. But I think it's more of like the money factor. I think because Valve has, Steam, Valve makes like great content and
Right.
stuff like that. So they have way more money, I think, than like any fighting game publisher would have. So it's like, you could have this like Capcom Cup kind of thing, but will the prize pool ever be like starting at $1 million?
You got to start somewhere.
It's
You
true.
gotta start
but-
some- I mean, when Steam came out the first time it came out, it wasn't really the best. It wasn't really the best kind of piece of software to use, and just over time with Valve kind of ironing it out and putting effort into it, it is the monster that it is now. And now Valve, by extension, Valve is very, very influential and very, very powerful with what they can do.
That's true.
They could even, like, if Capcom decided to go that route, even if they integrated it with Steam, Valve already has it in place where you have all these ways of, doing like microtransactions and stuff like that. So, I mean, even if they can't make their own system, they could at least, I guess, I don't know really how it works on Steam, lease it or whatever. I don't know.
They could
But-
probably support it if they wanted to.
There's a
Like
way,
some kind
but
of collaboration.
I completely agree with you. I mean, I've been saying it ever since I got AE for PC and noticed the difference in the way the game plays. I just wish every single tournament had just a PC Street Fighter.
Right. No,
Just,
I agree.
It's
I was just playing it before the show actually, and I was just like, wow, like I could just jump in, play a couple games.
yeah, you're right, and then you're just like you'd be doing whatever you want. But
Right.
I mean, the game isn't even really that graphics intensive anyway. Like nowadays, you could probably build like a mini tower and just
Yeah.
be able to run the game.
Yeah, you don't need much really to run that game. Just you probably spend like maybe $300-$400 and get a computer good enough. That's the same price as a console.
I mean, not even that. The computer you're using right now to watch this can probably play AE.
I mean, for like a tournament, I'm saying.
Yeah, for a tournament, I mean that would have to be worked out, but just getting there.
Well, I think
that's the
Evo would
hard
have to
part.
be I think Evo would have to be the one to pioneer this kind of movement. You know what I mean? Like these, the little guys are not going to be able to just build like 300 PCs that would be able to run the game. But I think something like Evo, which is always going to be there every year, could set something up like this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just make the investment. Boom.
And
Get it going.
actually, Black Shinobi in the chat just asked, how do you think the community would respond to the first tournament that switches entirely to PC? You say that Evo has to do it, but I think, and it's kind of weird to say, but I think Evo is too big to make that kind of switch right now. It would have to start on a smaller level, like kind of like a beta test of like, can we do this? Because Evo just one day just goes, hey, we're moving all the way to PC. They probably have too many sponsorship strings or too many kind of weird cogs in the machine that would make that transition so smooth after 1 year. I would like to see it start like at a smaller tournament, like maybe like a Big E tournament, which Summer Jam is this weekend, and we're going to get into that. But something at kind of the local level and run it that way. And then, once that process gets smoothed out, then you get bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I mean, like over 1,500 people entered AE at Evo. Like even if you had a year, just the logistical reason of making that switch, that's a huge thing after so many years of just running it on consoles and arcade. But then again, they originally started, base series or B series, I think it was called. It was on arcade cabinets, and then they switched to consoles and so on like that. So there's going to be a weird transition phase if the community even wants to do it, and I feel like they should. But as I've noticed this past year of doing Hold Back to Block and being involved in the fighting game community, sometimes we sabotage ourselves and do the complete opposite thing that we want to do. So we might get into that another day. I know I've written an article on the site holdbacktoblock.com. Bookmark it. Sometimes I write, sometimes I don't, but usually get all the updates of every video that we do on there anyway. About PC gaming and how I think it's good for the community. It was written back when we weren't sure what the DRM was going to be on the new consoles, like if it was going to murder us, like with always online checks, which one console tried to do.
Not anymore, though.
Not anymore. You don't even need to connect,
You
apparently.
don't even need to connect, really.
but they're gonna force it on you. And I wrote it back then about maybe this is a good thing. Maybe we can embrace PC gaming, and figure it out there. But I want to transition because we got about 20 minutes left. I want to transition into the second topic, and that is Summer Jam. But really, the main topic I want to get to is going to your first tournament. Because I know there's a bunch of people out there. I read the comments on all the videos I do, and with the Climbing the Ladder series, which is geared more to help me learn, and two, to give a nice little entry point for people learning, people who want to learn the game, people who want to play the game, and not bash them over the head with I am top player B, and these are all my advanced strats, when you don't even know what a jab is. So I know there are a lot of people who are interested in playing, but they're nervous about going to a tournament. And I know you guys have come with me to a couple of tournaments before. We've had some great experiences.
Some not so great ones.
And not so great ones.
Yeah.
But I love going to tournaments, and I'm really excited for tomorrow to head up to Philly. It's one of my favorite things to do. They're like mini vacations where all I do is work and play and work and work and maybe play. But
it's mostly work, because I went with you last year.
Yeah. But it's fun to meet people from all different areas, especially all along the East Coast, and when you go to EVO, all along the world, and have people come together for one thing they really, really like to do, and that's beat the digital face-in of somebody else that sits down next to them. So I don't know. What was your? We'll start with Ben. Ben, what was your first tournament? Try to keep a fighting game tournament that you went to, and what was the experience like? Were you nervous? Stuff like that.
First fighting game tournament I ever went to. There's only one that I remember. It was very local. It was local to where I used to live, and I think I found it on Shoryuken. I was looking in New Jersey. I live in New Jersey.
You gave it away.
I gave it away. I was looking at New Jersey.
Yeah.
I tried to censor everything so you wouldn't be able to know my exact location, but I will narrow it down to New Jersey. So I was looking on Shoryuken.com. I was looking at the New Jersey, I guess, forums, and I noticed this one very local. It was literally 5 minutes away. I was very surprised, and it was in the back of a billiards place that I didn't even know existed near me. It was brand new, and or new ownership, and I was kind of nervous because this is kind of when I was starting into Marvel 3. It was kind of what brought me into trying to play fighting games competitively, just try to go to tournaments and, try that all out. So, I was learning the joystick. I never really used to use one. The way I learn is by playing competitively. I can't really learn games unless I'm playing them against other people. It's kind of weird. It's something that drives me, So I actually really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I was kind of nervous at first because, you get to watch people that are playing before you, and if you're going to be putting up against them, then, you're kind of nervous. You scout them out and know what they're going to do and this and that, and you're like, oh crap, how am I going to handle this? But it was small, maybe only 10 people in the entire tournament, and I think that's the way to go if you want to start playing competitively in tournaments. Start small, play 10-man ones, 20-man even. And I think that kind of gets the butterflies out of your stomach.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my first one. I enjoyed it. I was nervous, but after a while, after you play a little bit and realize that, it's just people, you're just kind of just like hanging out in your own living room with your buddies playing, when it's that small. And, you kind of just grow from there, I feel like. Start going to bigger ones. When I went to the one, I think the Capcom sponsored one in New York with you. That was a little bit different. That was the first big one I ever went to like that, and I didn't even get to play. I don't even remember what happened. Oh no, it was so late in the day.
Yeah,
I decided to just leave. Yeah. I think I was there 8 in the morning, and
that one was kind of a clusterfuck.
8 in the morning. I wasn't gonna play until 8 at night, and I was just standing around.
Yeah.
nothing to do. For
After
that
you got
entire
there at
time.
11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So you had to
Yeah.
wait like over 8 hours.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
left 8 in the morning.
Yeah, we left at like 8 in the morning. We got there, got in line, made sure. I think we didn't even have tickets to that, did we, Brandon? I think we got to get there early just so we could get in.
No, we
Or something.
pre-registered and then
We did pre-register?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, anyway. That one was a little bit different, especially playing with like actual pros. I remember Brandon played against
I played against
what's-
PR Balrog.
yeah,
First round,
yeah,
right?
that was weird because
And I got
I
tore up.
I remember seeing them on stream, and now here they are in real life. It was kind of different, and that one kind of got me back to like butterfly mode and like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a bit starstruck, I would say, when you see a pro, even though they're not like really famous. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, but
But a lot of them don't. I'll say a lot of them. I know some of them do, but a lot of them don't even act like it. Like I remember, I was really surprised by how cool Justin Wong was. Like I played actually at the New York City tournament. I played like a first to 3 or something with him, and he gave me tips and everything like that. And he was really really approachable. And then when I interviewed him a year later at like Winter Brawl, he was like really cool, really like just kind of chill. Like a dude, like not like this kind of like I'm a professional Street Fighter player,
no, I didn't mean it in like a cockiness kind of way. I just meant that in like, it's like, you see them like Ben was saying on stream, and you're just like, oh my god, like how am I
Right.
supposed to like play this guy?
Well, I mean, not all of us are fangirls, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, oh, good.
But actually, what was your first tournament like, Brandon?
Mine was actually one that you threw in college when you were in.
Sudakure.
Yes, that was the first one that I went to with Ben. That's when we were both playing MVC3, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
First started out. I was extremely nervous in that one, not gonna lie, but I did make it kind of far for my first tournament.
Yeah, you did actually. I remember that.
But I like those kind of tournaments the best because it was you pay one fee, and you got to play like whatever game you wanted to play. So
Don't give
we
away
went
my
there and we we went there and Ben and I both did Street Fighter and Marvel. We weren't going to do Street Fighter because we stopped playing because Marvel came out. But then I was like, oh, it's free. We wanted, we paid one fee. Just let's play both of them. I got completely destroyed in Street Fighter because I didn't play anybody. I just was like, oh, I'm going to pick Ryu, and I got rocked. But I was really nervous playing Marvel because Ben and I actually practiced like, excuse me, a whole lot. And it was very, very nerve-wracking my first 2-3 matches, and then I kind of got into the swing of things, and I kind of lost my nerves. But I would say every tournament I went to, I was actually really nervous because I remember when I was in Summer Jam with you, and that one was like really big, and I got to play I played like a no-name person and like some Balrog, and I beat him first round, and then I got inside my head, and I just couldn't get out, and that's probably the worst thing you can do going to a tournament is just overthinking and not sticking to what you know and try and do like these things that you saw on stream because this worked for that guy, and just really got to stick to your game plan.
You got to practice, really.
Yeah, that too, which I don't do.
Yeah, I think we're all guilty of that.
But yeah, I think the tournament you threw was the first one I went to, and it was a lot of fun, honestly, but I just don't have time anymore to go.
Yeah, I kind of want to bring that model back. What Brandon's talking about is I used to go to college at the College of New Jersey, and I used to be president of their Japanese club. Well, it didn't start out like that. It was because of this event that I became president, really. But I came up with this idea they originally had this video game tournament, which is kind of shitty. Like they just played DDR and played Mario Kart and then had pizza, and they called that a tournament. And growing up in Brooklyn, I had seen tournaments. I never really played competitively, but I was always in the arcades, and I was playing, Street Fighter 2, Marvel 1, Marvel Superheroes. Marvel Superheroes was my fucking jam, and I was always aware of the scene, and I was always aware of what competition was with playing fighting games. So I was like, you know what, I'll take it. So I took it, and I developed it, and every year I tried something new. And the year that Brandon and Ben came, I was like, you know what, fuck it. Let's not charge an entry fee for each game. Let's just charge a venue fee. Let's charge a $20 venue fee, but it was $5 for this case. I'm talking about for large tournaments. For this tournament, it was just $5, I believe. And once you paid $5, every other game you could enter was free. You can enter whatever game you wanted, just let the TO know, and the bracket runners know, so they don't DQ or anything like that. But, yeah, it encouraged a lot of people to try out the games and play. And I was always on the side of running tournaments, and those were actually the tournaments that I ran were the first tournaments I actually played in. And I didn't have that kind of nervousness or anything like that because, it was mostly my friends and then some random scrubs that I would just bop and eliminate. But, I was always like, hey, great job, because I wanted them to come back next year to the event. But
can't shit on your audience when you're trying to.
I think that I don't shit on a lot of people, but you get that when you just beat somebody with like a double perfect, you're like, yeah, fuck you, man, good game, fuck you, man. But the first major tournament I think I went to, because I couldn't compete while I was at school, besides those tournaments, was the 25th anniversary with you guys in New York City, and I was like, not terrified, but I was like, this is gonna be hard, and I got lucky. Like, you guys left because you guys didn't get to play your games, except for Brandon. Brandon got destroyed by pure ball rug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like we tried to record it too. That was the best blow up ever.
Oh my god.
Yo, it was so early in the day too. He's like, all right, I'm here. All right, I'm playing pure ball rug. All right, I'm done. Let's leave.
It was literally like first match of the day. Like, it was just so bad. And I think it was 2 out of 3, and it went like 1 minute maybe.
Yeah,
it was just like so sad.
You, dude.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
Like,
oh, man,
he beat you so bad,
scared.
he was laughing. Like, he was like, yeah, this is free.
Yeah, he was.
That's how he came up with that focus technology, because he was just fucking around focusing Brandon all the time.
He actually
He's
did
like, wow,
hit
this
you with that
works.
shit a lot too.
Oh man,
But
it was so scary.
that was like a weird, not turning point. Like, that was actually that was the worst tournament I ever played in, like, player skill wise. I got lucky. I had an easy bracket, I won't lie, and the only person in my bracket was a guy named K-Brad, who I had no idea who he was at that time. I didn't think a lot of people knew who he was at that time, besides some locals and like major New York City players. And I played him, and I actually did decent against him, but he beat me, sent me to losers, and then actually fought my way out and qualified for top 32 at the 25th anniversary tournament in New York City. So I lost to him, and I lost to Craymore. But, like, I'm like Ben. I'm the type of guy who doesn't really like to practice at home. I don't like to practice anything. That's just fighting games. Like, when I was doing poetry and stuff like that, I hated practicing that because it's just like sitting or standing and doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, like the same combos over and over and over again. I'm the type of guy I'm the type of guy who always fought in the arcades and had to learn on the fly, or else I had to put another 25 cents in, and I didn't want to do that. So, in terms of people wanting to go to their first tournaments, I think the best thing that you can do is practice whatever you know at home. Don't try to cram. Like, it's like school. Don't try to cram like the night before a tournament. Like, you've got to build yourself. Like, go to a local, get used to that environment there, make some friends, use those friends, and not use them, but make gatherings with those friends and practice together, grow your scene. Then, you guys can invade a major together and see how you guys do. And it's just kind of like rinse and repeat. Like, you got to put a lot of work into it to really see some results. And you're going to be nervous. Like, you're going to be nervous. There's no way to shake those nerves. I guarantee you, even the top players are nervous when they play. That's that kind of nerves. Those things drive you. And learn how to use those to your advantage. Like, when you sit somebody, like once you have those nerves under control, then you'll see your gameplay get better. You'll stop jumping a lot. You'll stop doing stupid things, and you'll start to kind of, break down your gameplay and start to really advance. But you shouldn't be afraid to go to events. You should go to as many events as you possibly can, not only from the standpoint of wanting to get better, but also they're getting better and better at spectator events. I think Evo is still the king of that. But I know a lot of events are really a lot of tournaments are really stepping up their game and catering to newer players and the casual players, and I think that's where that's where my focus is with the videos that we do here. But I think that's where the focus needs to kind of turn to, because there's a lot more casual players than there are actually hungry tournament players, and I think that there's got to be a way for events to cater to them to really help the scene grow. But that's my 2 cents.
You know what it got me started going to tournaments? Just the online play of these fighting games are so terrible. No, I'm not even joking. Because,
no, you're
I said
right.
before, the only way I learn is by competitively playing people over and over and over again. Like, I could practice against a training dummy all day, but I would prefer to keep playing people over and over and learn that way. And so I tried to do it online, and you just knowing that it's lagging so bad and you're being hindered and you're not really playing at your best ability just because of that, it gets so frustrating that you just want to stop. And that's what ended up pushing me to start going to local tournaments and trying that out. And that helped wonderfully. But it actually ends up adding up because it costs money to be able to pay into these pots and stuff like that. So
I warn anybody right now that's like, I'm going to be a top player and make money and make a living playing fighting games. Don't do that. If you're in school right now, don't drop out of school to play fighting games. If you have a job right now, don't quit a job to play fighting games.
Unless your job sucks, then quit.
If your job sucks, stay at that job or look for another job. Do not quit it to play fighting games. There's not a lot of money in the scene, and it's just not a good idea. Like, I didn't play. The reason why I didn't get into the scene faster is because I wanted to finish my education. And so, like, a lot of friends that I made, before I went to college were like, oh, why don't you come out to events? I'm like, because I'm trying to get my diploma. And I wanted to make sure I had a job, I had money, so I can, pay my bills, pay some stuff, and then use the extra money to have to go to these events and, film it and play and stuff like that. So if your first tournament and you're going to it with the dreams of, being the next Justin Wong or the next Filipino champ, you can have those dreams, but don't be responsible with them. Because there are countless stories of people who have gave away everything to do this, and they are broke and miserable. So
it's a very touching story.
Oh, and with that, Ben just dropped out of the call. He's like, I'm out. Ben was one of those top players that sold his house.
See, that's why he's in dark, because he can only afford the electricity for his monitors.
He doesn't even. Yeah, exactly. He has no money to pay the electricity bill.
Don't be like Ben. Get stable internet.
Look at him staring at you with his judgmental eyes.
He's just glaring.
I don't know if he's gonna come back. We'll see if he comes back. If he doesn't, we'll just end the show here because it's gonna be 10 o'clock, and that should be good. I don't know. Do you have any other tips for people going to their first tournament? What about some logistical stuff?
Other than don't get in your head. Stick to your game plan. If it doesn't work, doesn't work. But
don't panic.
Don't panic. Oh my god, that's definitely the best one. I panicked my ass off at Summer Jam, and I just kept jumping and jumping and jumping. Don't do that.
Like, if and when your game plan does not work out, just try to recover.
Yeah.
And don't freak out. Like, I had to play Lucky D. Like, I lost against not the worst Bison player at Summer Jam, but it was a Bison player who was only doing 2 things, and I lost. And I was
jump roundhouses?
Yeah, I was so mad at myself because I should beat this guy. He's doing the same thing over and over again. And then I play Lucky D, and I didn't even know who Lucky D was. But all I knew is that Lucky D was, wow, your face got really big.
Because Ben's not on the call.
Yeah, I gotta re-add you again. He's a great Dawson player. He's arguably one of the best Dawson players in the U.S. But I didn't know who he was, and I never played a Dawson before. And you watched that match, I believe. I didn't panic, and just kind of adjusted myself to deal with his play style. And I told him after the game, and this is when I started to really kind of talk with Dan and stuff like that. I told him after the game, God, adding your video is always a pain in the ass. I was like, dude, I've never played a Dawson in my life. What do I do in the match? And he was like, you've never played a Dawson before? What the fuck? You played that match actually pretty well. And
you just gotta stick your limits. You just gotta stick your limits out.
Panic, and just kind of focus on your core game, your core gameplay, you will be just fine. We guarantee you. But I think the biggest rule is, now that I finally got you in after I turned everything off, 17 times, I was flailing for my life here. I think the biggest thing is to have fun, and that's my key rule. I think in one of the episodes I did recently, I said the biggest thing that you can do when doing this stuff is to enjoy yourself and to have fun, because if you're not having fun, then it's not worth doing.
Yep.
If you're getting frustrated, if you're getting upset at yourself because oh, I didn't block this combo, I'm the worst. Just kind of realize that you were playing. Realize the ludicrous. I can't even come up with the word. How absurd the situation is. You're playing a game. You're playing an electronic game against another person for fun and money. It's just crazy. Just have fun with it. Not everybody gets a chance to do this. So just embrace the moment and play. And then when you're eliminated, because when you're eliminated from the tournament, that's when the weekend actually starts. You can go kind of hang out in the rooms. You could go play games. You go meet players. You can go drinking if you're overage. We don't endorse underage drinking at Hold Back the Block. But
only if you don't get caught.
only if you don't get caught and or arrested. But you know, like, and that's another big tip is like when you're eliminated and like you have nothing to do, like let's say you don't make it out of pools on Saturday, spend that night on Saturday just walking around the hotel looking for games, meeting people, expand your network, play, have a good time. And then when come finals, just chill out, relax, watch it. If you have to go home, you have to go home, but stay for as long as you can because you're going to see the high level play there and you can really kind of understand what that environment is like.
Yeah, I think that was the most fun that I had at Summer Jam, honestly. I mean, tournament was run well, but like you said, just going into those rooms, just playing games, and you know, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was when JoJo came out too. We were playing JoJo.
Really?
That was sick.
I love that game.
I don't think Ben is going to come back into the call.
No, his computer actually crashed.
Oh, so. Did it really? Damn.
Yeah, he's done. He's done for the night.
I think the biggest rule, and I think everybody will agree with this, is please shower. Please shower.
Oh my God, yes.
Please
Jesus
make
Christ.
sure you're clean. And this is not like a knock on anybody, but like you got to understand you're cramming like 200, 300 people into one room. I don't care if you're like, oh, I'm going to be late for my pool. Be late for your pool. Like, call somebody, be like, hey, dude, I really got to take a shower. Because, like, I guarantee you, like, if you're like, hey, he's going to be late for his pool because he wants to be sure he takes a shower and he's clean, like, they'll be like, yo, he could take 50 minutes if he's going to take a shower. Like, we're so grateful if this guy takes a shower. Like, go ahead, let him. That's one less stinky person down here.
Yeah,
like,
it's just so many bodies.
It's so many bodies, and you're going from, like, 12 o'clock in the afternoon to, like, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, just be
It's
clean.
a long day.
It's kind of hard to play against you if you smell like Doritos and Cheetos.
Those hotel rooms have a shower for a reason.
Yeah,
so
like
use them wisely.
The towels are free; they come with the room.
Yeah, you could steal them. I mean,
we don't encourage towel stealing.
Don't do that, but you can.
On Hold Back to Block. So I think that's going to end now that we've lost Ben to the void. You can follow Ben on Twitter at PubRagen and be his second follower.
Yes. He needs more followers because he's trying to build that channel, but he's not getting the word out.
He's telling one person, at least. One person. And you'll notice
I think about 15 people know. That's about it.
And you'll notice that Brandon does not have anything underneath him because he's too lazy to make a Twitter account. And I refuse to put his Facebook account on there.
Yeah. I mean, nobody added me, so let me make a Twitter account or something.
Make a Twitter account.
I got to make one. I'll make one this weekend, maybe. See how it goes.
Let's see how it goes, yeah. Should be fun. You can follow me at TheBestOfBon. I tweet a little bit more. I'm trying to use it more lately. I'm trying to grow the social media presence so I can annoy even more people a day. But most importantly, please follow this Twitch channel. We're going to be using it a lot more in the future. This is going to be the home of all the live shows. Right now we have this one. There might be more in the future. And who knows, maybe some gameplay between like maybe some Dota, some Street Fighter, Marvel, and like League. Because we're trying to branch out a little bit more. We're still going to have all the fighting game content, but I would like to branch out a little bit more to general gaming just because like this is what I do. Like I love playing fighting games, but sometimes I really love RPGs. And I really
Let's
love
do some
stuff.
Let's Plays.
I'm working on it. Finally going to play BioShock Infinite eventually.
Oh, KOF for PC.
Yes.
Too,
we didn't get
so
to it, but KOF for PC, I plan to do some good stuff with that.
I
Code
kind of plan to play that myself. So
follow this channel. We're going to keep doing stuff here. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube at Hold Back to Block TV. So youtube.com/holdbacktoblock.tv. Summer Jam's coming up, so I should have a couple interviews as well as some gaming content. I'm going to try to get a couple first to fives for the Climbing the Ladder series. And follow us on Twitter at Hold Back to Block. So thank you all for watching.
Joining you there. Sorry.
Well, you've got important stuff, government CIA stuff to do.
I do.
Yes, redacted. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good night. We'll be back next week, hopefully. Hopefully we'll have Ben if his computer hasn't exploded. But till then, see you guys later.
Bye, guys.